After beating number 23 ranked Northern Illinois, we thought we'd go to a little bit better of a bowl game, but it turns out we'd be going to the GoDaddy.com Bowl. Besides the obvious goal of winning the game, we really wanted to show what we could do on the ground against a team like Troy that was also bowl eligible. During the first quarter and during the first few drives, it was really hard for us to get some runs off, but on this kick return right here, we started to open up and it looked like we were going to have a good game. As the first quarter went on, we tried to get me involved in the pass game, but that didn't happen a lot as we fell down on that play. Establishing the run was going to be important as we were already down 3 by Troy, and we wanted to make sure that they knew what our forte was. On this 1st and 10, as the second quarter started, we break off a big run, and that's something we're going to look to do the rest of the game against Troy. On this 1st and 10, we do end up running the ball, but we have 4 Troy linemen swarm on us, and on this 3rd and 8, we actually don't end up moving the chains, and we tie the game up 3-3 with Troy. After this run here on 2nd and 4, we actually broke the school rushing record for rushing yards in a season. Achieving this milestone was really humbling for us, but we wanted more. We wanted to break the nation's running record and touchdown record next season. As the second quarter was coming to a close, we tried to air the ball out to try to get us into field goal range or even get us a touchdown, and right here we have some great plays, breaking some tackles and extending the play. We ended up scoring a touchdown but missing the 2-point conversion. We weren't on the field, sadly. As we got into the second half, it did look like Troy was keying in on the run, but that really didn't matter as here we did get an option play off well, and I decided to wait and lay some blocks so that way our quarterback could have a nice game. We still aren't running the ball exactly how we'd like. We'd like less option and more direct handoffs just to us. But in the goal line, we do run a play action here, and our quarterback throws a laser in the back of the end zone. This makes the score 18-3, and then they decide to go for 2, run the ball with me, which we obviously don't get in that situation. In the fourth quarter, up by 15, we do try to run the ball, but we run an option, and again, doesn't really work. But on this 3rd and 10, we run a play where I get to run a route, and obviously we score a touchdown there. At this point, as our freshman season winds down, we just kind of want to pad some stats and show them what we're made of and what we're going to look like going into next year. On this punt return, we actually do make some men miss, and we actually thought we were going to take it to the house, but we get caught from behind, and that really wasn't in the game plan. Make the final score in the GoDaddy.com Bowl 25-3 as we top Troy and end the season on a high note. As the season wore on, it really did look like our coach was putting more on our shoulders, and that's exactly what we want. We want to be using the pass game as well as just run the ball straight up a little more often. After such a dominant freshman year, we really were looking to make an impact on Ohio University going into next year. We were already known as a team powerhouse and wanted to be known as a team legend. Looking at the preseason rankings, you really had to go down to see where the Ohio University Bobcats were ranked. We were ranked number 43 in the country, which is definitely not where we want to be. Our goal by the end of the year is to be ranked and also be in the Heisman race. We started off this season against the University of Kentucky, and this was going to be a big step up from where we normally play in the MAC. We were going to be going up against SEC talent that was likely recruited at all of the major SEC schools. Playing well against the Wildcats would really put us in a great standing and make some eyes look at Athens, Ohio to see where the next Heisman might come out of. We started off the season on a slow mark. Every time we tried to run the ball, we were either tackling in the backfield, but it looked like whenever we were running the options, we were actually picking up some yardage. That was until the start of the second quarter. Then we broke off this huge run that would really start catapulting our day. On this 1st and 10, we actually did get the handoff, and we ended up taking this one for about 12 yards, which is exactly what we needed to do to start making the Kentucky defense respect us. On this 1st and 10, we were tackled after a 5-yard gain. We tried to run a screen right here, and they were right on us. They tackled us right in the backfield, but we did run a goal line fullback dive, and our fullback was wide open, and that was great for us. After going up 7-3 on Kentucky, we really wanted to put our foot on the gas and keep it going. As we're trying to go for the end zone on this last 3rd and 5, we do end up getting sacked from 8 yards, which takes us out of getting a touchdown. We are up 10-3 on Kentucky coming out of the second half, and that's really what we want to be in. We want to show that we are contenders against SEC schools and every school in the nation. On our first run of the second half, we get about a 5-yard gain, which is good, but not really up to our normal standards. The Wildcats seem to have keyed in on me and realized that's what we're going to try to do in the second half. But that really didn't matter. On this 3rd and 6, we ended up breaking away from run and breaking a tackle right here from the Kentucky safety, but being pushed out of bounds at around the 50. If our goal was to win the Heisman, we were going to need to put up some touchdown runs, and right here we had our first one of the season as we make a defender miss and end up diving into the end zone to put us up 17-3 against Kentucky. At the fourth quarter, we decided to try to get some more stats and pour it on as we took the ball all the way to the 3-yard line. We were taken out as we scored another touchdown, putting us up 24-3 on the Kentucky Wildcats. The clock was winding down. We really wanted to have some good runs just to show the SEC what we were about in case we played any later in the season. Our last run of the day on a 2nd and 7, we almost took it to the house, but we ran into our lineman, which stopped us and only gave us a 13-yard gain. We ended up topping Kentucky 24-3 after a really solid performance from us. This was the first time we had played a Power 5 school, and we really made it look like we belonged here. Ending the day with 20 carries, 234 yards, and a touchdown is really great for our Heisman candidacy. Coming off our huge performance against the Kentucky Wildcat, we played Marshall University in a game where we looked to put up similar, if not better, numbers against a Marshall defense that probably wasn't as good as Kentucky's. With 3 minutes left in the first quarter, we really showed what we were made of after this huge run where we actually do a solid truck and we get tackled at about the 13-yard line. On this 3rd and 4, the coach decided to hand the ball off to us. We tried to make a cutback, but we ended up getting stuffed on a 4th and inches. 4th and inches, our coach wanted a play action, but I decided to choose an extra play which would give me the run on 4th and inches. We ended up getting lined up, all ready to go. We snapped the ball, but we ended up running right into our lineman, but then we fall, and then we get a 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, and we end up rushing it in with our backup running back. Drives like that are a little upsetting, as we want to be the Heisman, and it's really hard to get those touchdowns when we're not being used as the goal line back too. At 7 foot 400 pounds, you really think coach would do that, but when you make jukes like that, he doesn't need to. After putting us in some great field position with my legs, our quarterback ended up throwing a touchdown, putting us up 13-0 on Marshall. Every time the ball is in our hands, we do feel like we have the potential to turn it into a touchdown, but sometimes we're just getting tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. On this 3rd and 1, we did almost break it deep, but we got caught from behind from a cornerback, putting us at the 12-yard line. Runs like this will really drive you crazy as we're so big and we're so fast, but we end up getting stopped at about the 2-yard line. But this time, coach uses us as goal line back, and we get the rushing touchdown from about 3 yards out. With less than a minute left in the second, we end up throwing the ball a lot, which is coach's forte, and I always normally get picked up right here on a little Texas route that I like to run. With 19 seconds left, coach scores a touchdown and puts us up 27-7 on Marshall. On our first drive out, we get some amazing blocks, and we end up taking this for a touchdown, putting us up 34-14 on Marshall. We've decided that we don't want to take the lackadaisical approach, but we are going to go down and be respectful. We really want to put up numbers and win the Heisman this year coming out of Athens, Ohio. But again, on this 3rd and 3, we were taken out of the game, and we score a touchdown while I'm not on the field. While we are a team player, this is something that is going to frustrate us, and later in the season could make us look at the transfer portal. Our main goal is coming to OU. We're trying to build something, and that we think we've done as we're going to try to compete to be a nationally ranked team this year. But we also want to put ourselves in the best position possible to be drafted in the NFL. And that's not going to happen when we aren't showing what we can do with the ball in all levels of the field. But to no shock for anybody, we were player of the game with 33 carries, 270 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Next game of the season came against the Idaho Vandals, where we really were looking to put up historic numbers in this game. We were running the ball a lot more from a normal set and not on options, which was something really good for us to see as a progression throughout this season. We were picking up about 5 yards a carry early in the first quarter. On this 3rd and 2, we did have a chance to take it into the house, but we did get tackled, but we were on top of somebody, so we were able to get up and then take it to basically the 1-inch line. Here it was the same old song and dance where we were taken out of the game and someone scored on the 1-inch line. This really fueled us, and we did have some angry runs through the rest of the game as we truck a man here and break a tackle. On a 2nd and inches as the first quarter was ending, we decided to break a few tackles and almost take this one all the way to the house. We were caught by a safety at about the 5-yard line, which was really infuriating. Stop me if you heard this before. We were taken out on the 1 and scored yet again another touchdown. I think the weirder thing is that on plays like this, on a 2nd and 2, we have no problem handing it right off to me. But it's in plays right at the goal line when you think you'd want to use a 400-pounder, coach decides to not use me. But it really doesn't matter because on this 3rd and 2, we have some great cuts after some great blocks, and we take it to the house, making it 21-0 on the Vandals. And it even looked like my teammates are getting hyped for me, which is really nice to see. With 16 seconds left on the clock, our quarterback uncorks one, and we end up scoring a touchdown on basically a Hail Mary, which is really fun to see as DeMarcus Harvey scored. Being up 27-0, you'd think we'd put our foot off the gas, but after that juke move, it does not look like that is going to happen, as we take a run from 2nd and inches all the way to the house for a 54-yard run. After taking a 34-0 lead, Idaho ends up scoring, making it 34-7, and right here, we get another big run, but actually takes us down again to the 1-inch line. And with that run, we broke the school record for rushing yards in a game. Previous record was 282, and we ended with that run on 293. Yet again, on the 1-inch line, we were taken out and let somebody else score. With a few more angry runs left in us, when we probably should have been diving and going out in the 3rd quarter, we decided to run and pad some stats and get some more rushing yards. At the end of the 3rd quarter, coach decided it was enough and took us all out, and we simulated the rest of the game, making it 41-7, the final score against Idaho. After breaking another record in our school history, it really put us in a good place. 138 yards and 2 touchdowns is not a bad day. Taking a peek at the top 25, we are nowhere to be seen, which is definitely disappointing but kind of expected. When we took a peek at others receiving votes, it was good to see we got 26 votes to be in the top 25.